Welcome back to Spank Ranch Garage. Spring is coming in 3 weeks. I got land clearing to do this summer, and I want to get this backhoe 100% done. So follow along for the final repairs before we get this thing delivered. I want to check the pump inlet screen on this thing. I wasn't even aware that existed initially. So I got the front axle up on a tire here to give me a little more room to get in here. Now this is risky. You got to make sure your parking brake's on. This thing's not going to move. So you got to get your hands up between the tilt axle and the frame to 1.25 inch hex under here on the pump. But it just seems like something makes some noise up here. I don't know if it's the pump coupler or it's the pump. This pump is so annoying to work on. It's like totally not in a place you can get to. We're already dripping. You would think that'd be finger tight by now. Oh, I can't get my hand in there. Come on. So I got a bolt with a big spring. Not necessarily what I expected to see. Hope we're working on the right side of the pump here. What I took out, it's got shims under it that someone has stacked extra stuff on. There's 3 shims under here. There's also, it's gonna be very hard for you guys to see, there's a little bit of glitter on the bottom there. This spring is pretty tough. It does something important. What does it do? I don't know, maybe regulates inlet pressure or something. I gotta look at a diagram. This isn't what I expected to see. Well guys, I stand corrected. It is in the manual, but it specifies only for later units. Early unit did not get an inlet screen, which is a little bit disappointing, honestly, because I'd like to, the more filtration and screens, the better to me, with the amount of crap that goes wrong around here. The 3 shims are factory. This is the relief for the pump case, I think. Got her started again, so we'll ram that down and act like we were never in here. So this is the little annoying work that just takes time, but it's so essential. It's just lighting. I have to have lights on this because in the wintertime, you know, you get no daylight, so I want to be able to see out the front and back of this thing pretty good. None of the factory lights are salvageable at this point, so we'll do the LEDs. Got a couple bars from China and a couple pod lights. These here, like these are sized similarly to the factory lights, but I do have these left over from another job too. Maybe I'll run some of these. Yeah, we'll just get rid of all this factory crap, put a light bar on here. It does shine up here on the boom, so there is a good bit of peripheral action going on. It really doesn't look bright now, but I don't know how dead this battery is. Alright, got the lights mounted on the side. Put a bar up on the center below that little window that I'll never use. And then another one over here. Should be good for rear lighting. That'll at least get me started. Yeah, this is undesirable. That's all slop. So much so that I can't even open the bucket as well as you should be able to. So, let's get that fixed. I grabbed another control bracket from a scrapyard, rebuilt it on the bench, and honestly, everyone asks me, like, how do you do this? Why don't you make a video of it? Just take your sloppy crap, weld it closed, drill it open, put bigger pins in, whatever. They're all kind of different. I did this on the dozer, I did it on the backhoe. You'll see this will really tighten up nice. And that way I don't have to tinker with this one. I'm gonna reuse the levers off of this one because the junkyard ones were pretty beat. Not that these are much better, but Just like, look, I mean, you see that pin? That's slopped the hell out. Look at this one here. Slop the hell out. So just find your offenders and fix them. I don't know really much more what to say there. That's control rebuild with the original handles. No slop there. Very minimal here. Very minimal here. Very minimal here. So a couple hours of time, just drilling things, making linkages, whatever it takes. But now I have full throw of all the valves. So now I can actually use this backhoe a little bit more effectively. How about those apples? It's early morning, so the sun's coming up, but these lights kick off some light, so that'll be sweet for doing night work, snow removal, whatever. So the battery cables in this machine are way undersized. They're not original. So if you're ever scrapping or parting out a BMW, pull the wire out of the car, you get like 13 feet of 1/0. At least this is out of a 95 M3. And we're going to use this to make our new cable. Give it a little crimp too in a wrench. It doesn't need it, but at least a little extra mechanical makes me feel better. So I just taped the new wire to the old wire to route it through the machine for me. But yeah, you can see the difference here. This little boy's just not cutting it. This is just too small to start one of these in the cold. So I'm gonna upgrade both the power and the ground to the double lot. Yeah, so a simple fuel filter swap has turned into a mechanical pump. The other one must have never been working, and this thing's been siphoning from the tank all this time because it's got a stuck check valve. I can't get it to move any fuel. Or at least we're hoping it's that, and we're hoping the cam lobe isn't wiped off of this thing. I think we're up on the lobe right now. Well, it's got a lobe then. I don't think John Deere's have a push rod here. I think it's straight on the cam lobe, so I think if I turn the engine, it should fall right in. Yep, good. Yeah, I went to bleed the new fuel filter. I wasn't getting any action. I drained the battery all the way down. I didn't even get the sediment bowl filled. So I started investigating. Tank supply was nice and clean, everything looks good there, but got no dice from the pump. So I'm surprised this thing was running as well as it was if it was really siphoning all the way through. Now we got some fuel coming, baby. Cranking it with the fuel valve off, hoping that I can save the prime in the pump. So now I'm going to crank it more, hopefully push the air through the supply line to the Roostermaster, and then we'll be able to start it. Did you guys see anything come out? It looks wet. Guess we'll try it. If we just get a little bit of air, there's a good chance the Roostermaster will send it the right way for us. I don't want to have to pull the hood off and rebleed the lines again. Round filters are a pain in the butt. I really like the newer, like the square John Deere ones. They seem to just go right on, never have a leak. There's no fumbling with the O-rings. Those old ones suck. That's a window. All right, we got a window. So just one step closer. Every morning, every night, I'm coming out here, I'm trying to bang 1 or 2 items off the list. We're getting really close with this. Stick with me, a couple more things to go. These hoses are kind of a joke. Let's make some hard lines to clean this situation up. I got the other ones we built all mounted up, tight, mounted. They get close here, but nothing touches, nothing will wear through. And then they terminate here, and I stagger the ends so I can get a wrench on this fitting, wrench on this fitting. So as soon as that paint dries, we'll get this put back together, get the hoses on, show you how it all works. It's a nice smell. Just wanted to take a look inside these spindles here, make sure the bearings at least have grease in them, aren't coming apart, because I may have to road ride this thing kind of far to get it to its destination. And man, if I had a tire lock up and I'm stuck on the side of the road, that's going to be quite a conversation. Just want to see, this looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like it got a little bit of moisture in it at some point, but nothing crazy for how long this thing was sitting. So Tell the grease is pretty dried, like it's starting to crack, but overall I'm happy to see there is grease in there. I was expecting a much worse outcome here. This thing's got almost an inch of toe in. So we gotta fix that. We gotta shorten up that tie rod. The later 410s like this, and I guess a lot of the 310s, well, the newer ones at least, are full hydraulic steering, so cylinder going each way, but there's a tie rod between them that's adjustable to keep the cylinders honest, I guess, to keep the toe good. And you know, nobody probably does an alignment on their backhoe, but if you do need to put some road miles down, an inch of toe in is gonna wear these tires fairly quick. So we just need to get it closer than that. How'd you know? Oh, what's that? This is reverse thread, and the smart way would be to loosen both collars and turn the tie rod. But the tie rod looks bent. I think it's going to contact the axle and not make a full revolution, so we're going to do some eyeballing this way on this performance alignment here. The ends actually feel really good, which is crazy because they're probably original. So last night I wrapped up that alignment. Tires are pointed in the right direction now. So that way these will last much longer. If I do have to run the road, I hit some dog crap. And also it steers equally to the left now and the right. So if your alignment's really far off, one of these knuckles has a stop on it. It's only going to go so far. So you may find it turns sharper to the right or the left. But now it is spot on. Actually kind of a tricky job to do. If you have to do this on yours and you're going to move this tie rod a lot, you're going to want to crack some lines on the hydraulic cylinders there, because they kind of find their own natural spread and they adapt to whatever the tie rod is. If the tie rod's wrong, that fluid's got to go somewhere. The system won't let it, whatever. Anyway, we're on to the next problem with this backhoe, is the lower bucket pins. So ever since I pulled this thing out of the woods, when you raise the boom, this bucket starts creaking and popping and making some really bad sounds. And you can see that there's slop down here, which I don't care about the slop. I'm never doing precision grading with this machine. It can be sloppy on the front side, I don't care. But what you'll also see, when we get this apart at least, is it appears that the bushings in both the bucket and the boom are broken and splintering and falling out. Kind of see it there. There's only half a bushing left. Pieces coming off. Doesn't look like there's anything left on this. The clip's missing, so I got new clips on order. And then up here, I don't know if these roll pins are factory or not, but we're going to drive all this out, pull the whole bucket off, back the machine up, lube some of the non-greasable things. Somebody's already been in here repairing this. They actually did a great job. That looks nice. I'm cool with it. And then also the bucket level indicator is seized in this tube and broken, so we'll fix that while we're in here too. Right now it's the 15th of March, and I am going down the list here, checking things out. The list is getting smaller. I want to do one thing on this backhoe every day and set up for delivery at the end of March. So time is ticking. I got 2 weeks to finish this girl up, get it to its final state. Yeah, this thing hasn't seen grease in 50 years. Yeah, see, this is an undesirable bushing condition. Look at this one. We can do better than that. I mean, we're not going to make it perfect, but if we could take some of the slop out and just put some new life back into this boom. This one's not as bad. At least one of them's integral and the other one's busted. And the other thing is these links, that's got a hole in it for a Zerk. These bushings look okay, but this really needs to be flipped over so I can grease this. Nobody probably even knew these were here. There's a little bit of a Zerk left in that one. But I think with them being upside down, even with them being right side up, I don't foresee them being damaged. I mean, I'm not going to be pushing dirt over the top of this bucket probably. So we'll flip those for easier serviceability, and we'll try to get some grease in here while we're here. So this loader's got a self-leveling bucket on it. So if you look at how the linkages are set up here, these are actually the curl cylinders. It's kind of a crazy cylinder design, but as you lift, the bucket stays relatively flat, unlike like my skid steer where as you lift, the bucket comes up with the boom. So the tilt bushings are moving as the bucket's coming up. This stuff sees a little more wear, but it was really pissed off and groaning and making all kinds of noise. So these pins aren't too bad. These will get reused. Got 8 of these bushings. So apparently the bucket fits 4 and the boom fits 4. I got these from a guy down in Florida. He makes them for about half the price of the John Deere ones, and they're hardened and should be good to go. But we'll see. I think this boom could use a bore weld. So these bushings fit a little sloppy towards the outside there. I'm going to drive them in further than factory bushings to get to some fresh steel, because we have like an inch between them there. And that'll work. Like I said, we're not doing a full restoration on this loader setup. It's just not worth my time to make this perfect. I can't get carried away with doing this kind of stuff every time. That's pretty darn good. We can't complain. Beautiful. See ya. I probably could have did that MIG welding trick where you weld some beads in to shrink it, but let's see. Oh, that's all it takes, a little nip, no damage to the bore. Good as new. All right, still line up. Very good. See how caked this thing is inside? You probably can't see on the camera, but this would have never pumped grease anyway, even if I tried. In here, got that piece to come out, I think. Ran it around with a punch until I could get a hold of it. Wow, that's really packed in there. All right, so this is the bucket level indicator for this thing. And usually you'd look at the end of this rod in relation to the housing and you'll know if the bucket is level or not. It's like a noob tool, but I suck at running like a full-size loader. Got a lot of hours in a skid steer for grading, and you can see the bucket edge. It's so easy. This, you're shooting blind. So I want to fix this, and looks like that actually freed up way nicer than I expected it to. I expected a fight. But anyway, when I pulled this thing out of the woods, we had to raise the boom to get it on the tow truck, and this thing just snapped. Full tension snap, so it was very seized. But anyway, we got it moving now, so that went a lot easier than I thought it would. I expected to have to torch that out. Just gonna clean it up, weld it back together. There we go. I had to drill this pin both ways to get any grease to come through it. Oh, my gun's losing prime. There we go. All right, another small problem out the door. All right, so now the tractor side is done. New bushings in the bottom, grease fittings, and flipped these, greased these pins, and then fixed the bucket level indicator. So before we put it back together, are we going to do the bucket bushings? They're not broken and split like the boom bushings were, but they are so thin, I don't know what's left of that bore, if I can even get a new bushing in there without welding and boring. We're not going to get into all that on this old bucket. That's pretty poor fitment, if you ask me. I got to think about if this is worth it to even approach this project, or we just leave it be. I mean, it is just the bucket after all. And all the horrible noises were coming from the broken bushings in here. As they were dry and flipping onto each other, it was terrible noises. According to the parts manual, they should take the same bushings as the boom, but man, I can't tell if there's a bushing there. I don't see any evidence that this is a press-out bushing. It almost just looks like a weld bore. Maybe on the inside I see a little evidence of it. So I already bought these, I can't return them. If we could get them in there, that'd be sweet, but I don't want this to turn into a project either. Seems awfully soft. I don't think this bucket has bushings in it, which is a bummer. Well, I'm a little jerked about that. It's the original John Deere part number, AT33123, 1.1 cubic yards. Maybe this isn't the original bucket for this machine because I think they only came with like a 1 and a 0.75. Dang. That's gonna have to stay slopped then. Well, I'm a little bit bummed we couldn't do those bottom bushings, but it is what it is. We still made a lot of impact here in a short amount of time. It's probably been about an hour and a half since I started this, so we got the important bushings done. We fixed the popping noise. Really, there needs to be better spacers on these pins as well. They're probably not even the right pins for this bucket, but none of this is a showstopper for me at the moment. I can change this stuff in the field when I feel inclined to. Just be nice to be able to grease everything correctly again. So anyway, if someone needs a deal on 4 brand new bushings for John Deere 410, 310 straight, 310A, and 310B, these will fit the loader booms on all of those, or some of the buckets, apparently just not mine. That is so much happier. I didn't even film the noises it was making before because it was so embarrassing. I want to give this thing a final fluid flush and change, filter change, because I've had, you know, so many hoses off of the thing, and I had some water problems and contaminants. So we did filters and we did the suction screen when I first got the machine, and it did not look happy in there. So now that it's run a whole bunch and it's been flushed, we're gonna dump the fluid again, run it through my reconditioner thing, dry it out if there is any moisture. I'm sure these filters have picked up quite a bit of stuff, just with me having the machine apart so many times and so many hoses. Plus, I mean, it looked like a Taco Bell squirter. The first time I drained this transmission, there was so much water and sludge in it. So we're gonna try to start off on the right foot with all new fluids and filters before its first season. Hopefully every year it'll just clean up a little more. You can still see that fluid looks a little milky. There's still moisture in this thing. This I believe to be the hydraulic filter. The one we just pulled is the transmission filter. They both share a common sump, but this one has a screen before it to pick up the big crap, and shouldn't be a darn thing in there, but we're already this deep, we gotta check it. Oh, come on. Alright, that's the fitting. Now we gotta go through the screen, which this thing's gotta be out of my way to do so. There we go. Oh yeah, she's got some junk in her. Oh wow, she's got a lot of junk in her. The goal is also to not destroy the screen on the way out. There she comes. Oh yeah. See how that crap stuck to that? That is not good. I expected to find almost nothing on this, and we got literal grease on it, so it's packed inside and out. Damn! Look at that stuff. It's like grease. Couple little pieces of trash, but nothing major. But yeah, this stuff probably knocks your flow down pretty good, and you don't want the rest of this coming through and packing the other filters up and making their way to the pump. So we're gonna clean this up like new. All right, we look good now. All cleaned up. Still looks stained, but there's nothing in it now. Yeah, it was just like mud. Just literally looked like mud. If I remember right, that hydraulic pump is like 28 gallons a minute on the front of the motor, and the trans pump will do another 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 or whatever on that. So yeah, this thing was 3/4 of the way plugged up. We just had a little area coming through. It's not ideal, but got to get it out somehow, so I'm just gonna have to keep doing this, unfortunately. Trans filter, I used Napa filters last time, and unfortunately the top gasket plate delaminated from the filter like right away. I mean, this machine's got, what, 3 hours on it since I got it? Just putting around the yard and working on it. You can see you got some things on there. I'm curious to cut this open and see what it really looks like. Got some Deere filters for it. Made in USA, made in Mexico. Is the filter made in Mexico and the box is made in USA? Vice versa, the world may never know. Scumbags don't even give you a new O-ring? You kidding me? Oh my god. Come on, scumbags. O-rings sold separately. I guess we're reusing the other ones. At least Napa included O-rings with theirs. There's definitely debris in here, but nothing wildly alarming and nothing shiny, which is cool. A lot of just organic material, leaves. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy when these machines sit forever. What gets into this stuff? We're in there now. Yeah, nothing crazy, but enough that I feel better changing them. So inside the interior here, I got new shift boots. They fit really good, super tight. That way when water does get in here, it can't leak into the transmission. That's really the only place you're gonna take on water on one of these machines. And in this case, that top window up there is busted. There's a big hole in the trim. It drips straight down, bounces off the gauge cluster, and rolls right down the shifter and wicks into the transmission. Also, that side window is missing. We replaced that. So to the literally 50 people that were extremely offended with my water and oil video, why don't you fix the problem, blah blah blah. Dude, I buy this crap for like scrap. It's been sitting forever. It's got water in it. I don't allow additional water in it. Other people did. I'm just here to fix it. So take it easy, all right? Everything's gonna be okay. Also, revisiting that suction screen, right? It's right below this hose. Comes this way under the transmission. Somebody on the internet told me that I can pull that fitting and pull the screen out this side of the trans. That would make that very easy. Does anybody know if that's true, or is that only for B models? It looks like it might fit out that hole. Based on several viewer requests, they wanted me to put the eyes on Pac-Man, so that we can do. Pac-Man's hungry for some trees. You know we're getting close, boys, when cleaning the windows is on the list for the day. I don't know how often I'll have the back window down, but wouldn't matter anyway because I can't see through it. There's so much algae on it. I really didn't want an enclosed cab machine anyway, but it is what it is. Might be nice in the winter. I don't know about in the summer though. It already feels hot in there and it ain't even summer yet. I even cut up an old windshield wiper. Gets the job done. That old 12-volt motor still runs. All right, so the list is getting small. We are down to rear tires. Got some brand new 19.5 L24s here. Anyway, these new tires should be an upgrade in durability. I think they're 16 ply, plus having tread, matching tread would be nice. We're also waiting for a new starter for it. That's not an essential. I'm not gonna hold up shipping it over that. It is in the mail. We'll see if it gets here in time. But yeah, I got to do these tires, and I got to say this is probably the part I'm least excited about. I've really been putting these tires off for months because I'm afraid. I got back issues right now. I need to heal, and wrestling these things on does not look fun, but had to phone a friend and borrow some real tools. We'll see if this helps me at all. There it is. That's a start. Dwight Cooney's got it. Check out his channel. Does this all day.
I hope.
Guys, we're giving up. 4 hours on the same tire. You just got to cut your losses sometimes. So I'm gonna cut this one off, drop it off at the shop, get the new one mounted. Hopefully they can dismount and mount the other one. It is 11 o'clock at night on a Monday, and all I got done today was cut one tire off of here. Thanks to my neighbor Dwight getting wild with the saw. Not the way we wanted to do it, but we gave it everything we had. This was just insane. So this one, not even going to attempt. I'm going to throw these in the truck tomorrow morning. We got to find a shop to mount these for me. Days later, back from the tire shop. Lesson learned here, don't even bother. This place is a commercial tire shop. They do all kinds of loaders, backhoes, stuff like that. It was $45 to mount and unmount a tire, $50 to dispose of the old tire. So you're at about $100 or $200 a pair. So $200 a pair, a little over that with tax, to mount them both up for you, get rid of the old ones. They did recommend that I tube these based on the rim condition and how wide it is. So I did put tubes in them as well. That was an extra $200. Those tubes are $102 each. So anyway, 400 bucks and we're back in business. While you're in here, you can grease, I believe this is the outer axle bearing, another neglected grease joint. No matter where you look on this machine, you will always find grease zerks you didn't know existed. Closer. Oh, there she is, baby. Got her done. All right, it's nice to have 4 fresh tires on this. Nice load of tread, matching, tubed on a 16 ply. This should last me. I also have snow chains for these if I need them, but I think just having full tread will help a lot in the mud. This tread's got to be 1 inch deep here and almost 2 inches at the sides. That was a pain in the butt. This starter is annoying. It works when it works. It doesn't work when it doesn't work. I could pull it apart and service it. These are fully serviceable, but I do want to try one of these high torque starters I've been reading about, because this is the same engine and starter as my dozer, and on them cold mornings I could use a little more starting torque. So let's try one in this backhoe, see how it works. They're not that expensive. It's a new versus the old, smaller motor, gear reduction. There is a slight difference in flange to butt length here. No problem on the 4 cylinders. 3 cylinder might hit the fuel pump, I don't know. Probably have to take some measurements, but really off this nipple here, it's not much different. So I think this will fit pretty much any John Deere of the era, plus tons of other things. They seem like pretty universal starters. I think this was 140 bucks. Got no power to everything. Missed my main power lead here. Scumbag. That's some fast cranking, baby. Well, that sounds pretty different. We'll see how she does with a cold start. All right, it was 26 degrees last night. It is now 34 degrees. Let's see if she'll fire. Not bad, folks. We'll take it. It started okay. I mean, that's really not a good start, but at least it would do it. With the old starter, it would not do it without starting fluid. Like the old starter was just drawing a ton of amps. It was cranking really slow in the cold, and it wouldn't crank long before the battery would deplete. I didn't see any battery depletion there, so that's a step in the right direction. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up this old John Deere 410. Pulled this thing out of the woods a couple months ago. She was in rough shape, but I bought it because it was 2,500 bucks, and you know, it was fairly complete. It's got the Extend-A-Hoe on it, which is fairly uncommon on an older backhoe like this. But yeah, I went through everything, all new hoses, new tire. All the fluids are fresh. I did bushings, pins. You know, we ran auxiliary hydraulics. We put this grapple bucket on the back. She ain't pretty, but for what I need it for, I think this is going to be the perfect backhoe for me. It's going to live at our mountain property and sit in the woods all year until I need her, and I think this is going to be a really handy tool to have on the homestead. She's got a lot of patina, a lot of character, but mechanically I think this would be hard to beat at the price point I'm into this. So in the future, after I get a couple jobs done with this thing, I will make a frost breakdown like I did on the dozer. As you're watching this video, this backhoe is on a truck headed for the mountains to go be with its brother, the John Deere 450B dozer that we also fixed on the channel. Thanks for sticking with me on this one. It's been a nice learning experience. Never had a backhoe before, never got into one like this. So let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Thanks for watching Spank Ranch Garage.